Out with the old and in with the new. We hear it all the time. But what happens when the old is still highly attractive? I don't get emails about ceramic tile every day, but when I do, I'm pretty happy. Because now that stone and metal and especially glass tile have become so popular, it's easy to think that ceramic tile is outdated. But let me tell you, if you think ceramic tile is outdated, you're going to be so shocked by what we see inside. You would think a ceramic tile store in West Hollywood wouldn't get much action. After all, how can tile compare to celebrity hotspots? But just one look inside Walker's Anger and you know exactly why people come here. The tile is drop dead gorgeous. Maybe even red carpet worthy. Come here, we got here a little early and I want you to see something. Now this is what most people think ceramic tile looks like. You know, the plain boring stuff, because that's what we see in most people's homes. But check this out, look at all of the different options. I mean, ooh, isn't this one so pretty? Wow. You could spend hours and hours just trying to figure out which one you want to use in your home. But most of us don't have hours to dedicate to our tile selection, which is why I was waiting to meet Tristan McManaman. Being the marketing director for Walker's Anger has turned Tristan into a tile connoisseur, quick to state his opinion, tell you which tiles are hot, and of course, explain in great detail the essence of ceramic tile.
A ceramic tile is made of bisque and it's fired. And bisque is a type of clay, and there can be lots of different types of clay. And it just, you know, there's white bisque and red bisque. It just depends on the region that it comes from, and then it's fired at a certain temperature, and that's ceramic tile. It's only interesting if you know that. Why is that different than something else? It's different than, like, let's say a porcelain tile, for example, and that's a different type of clay that's fired at a much higher temperature. And the difference really to the consumer, to the homeowner, when you look at it, is that ceramic tiles tend to be like more artisan made, more irregular, less perfect, more beautiful, versus porcelain tiles tend to be much more streamlined. They're much more perfect.
Because porcelain tile is fired at a higher temperature, it's more durable than ceramic tile, but most tend to like ceramic tile more. And I know, it seems ironic. Typically, the more perfect something is, the more beautiful we find it. But not with tile. Having flaws and inconsistencies is what makes ceramic tile so beautiful.
And you'll see that there are like little imperfections around the edges of it, and the glaze doesn't pool exactly. And that's exactly what attracts people to ceramic tile, hand-glazed ceramic tile anyway, that it's not all perfect. It doesn't look machine-made, because it's not, it's handmade.
And while ceramic tile's imperfections are what give it its undeniable charm, they also make it a pain to install.
1, 2, 3.
Ceramic tile is hand pressed into molds, and then it's fired, and it typically warps a little bit when it's fired. That warpage can be as much as 8% per piece, which means nothing to anybody except when you're trying to put tile on a wall together and one piece sticks out like this and the other piece goes like that, and then it makes a big difference. People don't like that.
But having installed ceramic tile myself, I assure you, the initial panic of one tile sticking out too far completely fades away once all the tiles are in place. Because those slight imperfections are what gives a wall of ceramic tile its stunning appearance, which can be in any shape, size, or style you want.
There is a limitless, really, design application in terms of ceramic tile that comes in so many different colors and glazes and shapes and sizes, and decorative elements and repeating patterns and things. I think that really the design possibilities are endless. It can be very modern, it can be very old world, it can be anywhere in between, it can be rustic.
When faced with so many choices, it's best to start with the basics, which is why Tristan took me to the tile boards to learn what each type of tile is used for.
Field tile is anything that's going to take up the most space on a wall or on a floor. So it's typically something that lacks decoration.
Once you have your field tile selected, there are many other tiles you can add to your design. Base, rail, and cornice molding tiles are used to frame a tile design. Base molding tiles run along the floor at the bottom of the walls. Rail molding tiles are used to top off a half wall of tile. Cornice or crown molding tiles are used where the top of the wall meets the ceiling. To add interest to a wall of ceramic tiles, you can use a border molding which runs along the wall in a row, or a deco tile. What are these?
Those are decos, or decorative tiles. These are typically things that are used as accent pieces in a field or in between moldings, but they're pieces that you wouldn't necessarily put all together in a row to cover an entire surface. You would use a small decorative piece or a larger decorative piece in, let's say, over a stove, if you wanted to create a really special area there, or as accents all along a different backsplash, or in a bathroom, in a shower wall, you'd use a few of these strategically around. There are millions and millions of combinations that you could put them in, but typically decorative pieces are the pieces that are a lot more labor intensive. They're handmade, they're hand painted, they tend to be more expensive. Those are the pieces that bring zing to your design, but they're not the most cost efficient way of actually putting together an entire tile design. So you use them
sparingly.
Sparingly, yeah.
And when it comes to putting a ceramic tile design together, don't be afraid to mix and match different tiles. Lay out tons and tons of various combinations until you find one you like. Now, if that sounds like a little bit too much work for you, don't worry. There's a type of ceramic tile made especially for you. And these, I noticed, don't have all of those different types, so you don't have... Would this be considered the field tile then?
Actually, these are what we call all-over patterns. They lack any... It is a field tile, specifically speaking, yes, because it doesn't have any decorative elements. You just start at the bottom and go to the top and go from side to side.
And with tile that interesting, you may not want to keep it relegated to wet areas. So what is the coolest way that you have seen ceramic tile used?
The coolest way I've seen ceramic tile used is actually outside of the kitchen and bath. We had a client that installed it on a wall in a dining room, actually using this particular tile right here that you can see. This is a smaller format, but you can imagine this being on a huge wall as like a focal point.
Oh yeah, it'd be gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. And one of the reasons that they could do this is that this isn't your typical ceramic tile. It's got a lot of relief. It actually looks a lot like molding. Like you could create a fretwork molding out of this, or you could create like crown molding, base molding. So it's got dimension and architecture on its own in a space that otherwise may not have it.
But regardless of where you use ceramic tile, there's no doubt that you have tons of options. Fresh and hip, traditional and classy, rustic and worn, the possibilities are endless. So today's takeaway is that ceramic tile is right for you if you can appreciate imperfections. And like I told you, there are so many options when you go to choose ceramic tile. So we can also learn that sometimes those out-of-date products are much cooler than you think. Hey, don't go anywhere just yet. There's a whole lot more where that came from. Visit my website, askthedecorator.com, for tons more videos. And if you don't do that, at least subscribe to my YouTube channel or email alerts, because like I said, there's a whole lot more where that came from.